Hey guys, John here from the RxReview.com, and today I'm at SBS headquarters in CrossFit Brookvale, and I'm joined by a special guest, Games Qualifier Denae Brown from the Australian region. Now Denae, last time I spoke to you was at the 2012 Australian Regional, and you had finished third on the podium. You were off to the Games, it was happy days. Now, almost 2 years later, it's fair to say there's a lot that's happened since then.
It's fair to say that. So little baby has come along in that meantime, who's about to turn 1 almost.
So can you tell us about what happened, I suppose, once the regionals had finished, you'd gone home, you're excited, you'd qualified for the Games, then you got the news. Can you tell us about how you found out about the little baby that was on its way?
Sure. Well, I went back into my training as per, what was on my program, and just felt like I wasn't hitting my numbers. I was really fatigued. I thought at that time perhaps I've overtrained. Maybe I've done something wrong. And then I kind of looked into it. It continued on for, a couple of weeks afterwards, and I was like, oh, I guess you kind of always have this little, oh, something's not right. You're in tune, to your body. Headed off to the doctors. Had some tests, had some blood tests, made sure my iron level was right, wanted to just get everything tested. It was actually a doctor at the time, said, she just asked me a few of the symptoms and said, we might just run a pregnancy test. I was like, pregnancy test? Why? And then as it turns out, a couple of days later, I was pregnant and had to break the news to Ben, unfortunately.
Yeah, and now you were 4 weeks pregnant during regionals, right? Which means you would have been about 3 months pregnant by the time the Games rolled around. I mean, mixed emotions for you. Obviously, you're excited about having your firstborn. Obviously, there's the question mark, do I compete at the game? Did the thought cross your mind to just compete while pregnant? I mean, was that a possibility for you?
Look, I had to weigh it up. There was, obviously, I'd trained so hard and I'd put everything I could. And with that saying, my whole support crew around me had put everything they could as well into it. So it wasn't just me, it was my support crew. I guess I felt like I was, letting down. It was my goal. That was my goal, to get to the Games. So, I had to really think long and hard about which road I wanted to take. Obviously discussing it, with my hubby, I realised it wasn't the right thing to do, to compete. Obviously I wouldn't have been able to perform at my best. If there was anything that could have happened to the bubs, then I don't think I could ever, forgive myself for it. So
yeah, and it seems like it's a bit of a timely issue as well. We know there's a Californian woman that was heavily criticised, not just in the CrossFit world, but I think Ron Burgundy even joked about it during an appearance on Australian TV. A Californian mum who was heavily pregnant was photographed, in her gym training. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with that? Like, do you think the criticism was warranted?
Look, I think it's up to the individual. It depends, people, depending on where they've been training, how long they've been training for, it's absolutely, totally up to the individual. I finished up, at my 3rd trimester. That was my own choice. I certainly, if they want to keep training, then they do. For myself, I wanted to, I guess, I couldn't get any better. I wanted to enjoy the pregnancy, if you can enjoy it. But I wanted to enjoy that moment for what it was.
So obviously you took a bit of time off. I think it was it 3 months in total you took off?
Yeah. So 3rd trimester and then 8 weeks after Sarah was born. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, and it's not something that I could ever, I never will experience, and
I hope not.
Let's hope not. But coming back from pregnancy, a lot of professional CrossFitters have done it. I mean, we know Cheryl Brose has done it a few times, and there are plenty of athletes out that have done it at the highest level and gone back to compete at the Games. What has it been like coming back from pregnancy?
It's challenging. To be honest, I'd never been that unfit in my entire life. So. But it was humbling in a sense, because it was only at that point that I actually realised how fit I was. And I looked at photos of myself and I was like, oh, wow. I could see what everybody else could see, because I didn't see that before. It's just how I was. So it's been a challenge, but I think it'll be really good because it will help me in the long run be able to empathise with, you know, people who are at that level and who are building back up again.
And I was reading an article last year, like, of course we know that last year you didn't compete in the Open. Obviously you were spending your first year with Sarah, which is what mothers should be doing.
Yeah.
But we know that, I was reading an article at the time, I think it was maybe March, it was during the Open, and I was reading it, and you said, you were quoted as saying that you're not sure if you ever will compete at the highest.
Yeah.
And in your mind you were adamant that, you know, like, maybe I competed at regionals from time to time, but at that stage you were convinced you probably had hit your peak fitness and you will never reach it again.
Yep.
Do you still have that mindset, or?
No, I don't. I don't know what happened. Probably thanks to Ben Schwartz. And actually, probably big thanks because they put a brilliant games on this year. Look, at the time, you know, I was just trying to get by day. You know, obviously you're not sleeping much. You've got this new little bulbs in your life. So the thought of being able to compete and probably in nature, whether it be good or bad, part of my nature is it's either all or nothing. I'm either doing it or I'm not doing it at all. Yeah. So definitely at that point in time, you know, I was obviously really happy with, you know, being a mum, and that's what I wanted to do. However, after seeing the games, I guess it ignited my fire, and yeah, I want to obviously try and make it back, and I guess there's a little bit of unfinished business.
Yeah, definitely. So I suppose, fast forward in the tape, the CrossFit Open starts very shortly. You are entering it this year, you will be competing. What are your expectations and what are your hopes?
Look, I want to do as well as everybody else does. With that said, I think I also can't be too hard on myself. I have only been training back 5 months properly with the program. So, you know, this year may be a let's see how I fare. I feel stronger. I'm possibly not quite as fit as I was. Well, hang on, I competed while I was pregnant, so that was yeah. Look, the aim this year is just not to get pregnant.
Well, that should be easy, or maybe not. So, getting back to, you said you're, you know, there's certain numbers you're hitting which are good. You don't feel as fit as you were, but you're getting to that level. Are your numbers stacking up? Are they improving? Like, you said you've been training, like you've been following programs for the last 12 weeks now, full on. So have you seen strong and rapid improvements during that time, and you're hitting the numbers that you were once hitting back 2 years ago? Yeah,
absolutely. I've been working with Rob Downton at Raw Strength and Conditioning, and he's done a brilliant job with me. I had some niggling injuries, they're all fixed. My numbers, I'm stronger than I was before. So yeah, I guess only time will tell.
Yeah, and I suppose another question I had is, obviously you've got your firstborn. You're unaffiliated at this stage as well. You're not actually a member of a CrossFit affiliate, so you're a garage gym worker now. Do you have support? Are you sponsored at this stage?
Yes, I've got some fantastic sponsors on board. SBS, they've sponsored me, and also BSN, which is fantastic. It's, you know, to have those people backing you, I think what it also does is it builds your confidence that you can do it. Yeah.
And like, especially with these days, with, I mean, like, unless you're, you know, the top 3 competitors in the world earning $100,000 from prize money, it's tough to survive. And do you think you could do it without sponsors?
Not at all. No, well, I'm not saying that you can't do it, because obviously there are people that do it. So, but for me personally, it really helps. It really assists my growth and development to have that support group on board, and, you know, whether it be product, but also, you know, just to have an ear, someone to, you know, run some things over.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I suppose now, leading into the Open this year, and of course the regionals, the Australian females region, I think, is developing and turning into one of the tougher ones in the world. I mean, we've got Cara Gordon, who established herself as a top 10 competitor, Amanda Allen, who won the Masters champion or division over in the games this last year. You've got Ruth Anderson-Harrell, you've got Amy Dracup, who did a great performance at last year's regionals, and of course Pip Malone qualified for the games, and now you're back. What are your thoughts on the Australian region of females?
Look, I personally, now this is just my opinion, I actually personally reckon that the Australian region is one of the toughest regions, up there with, there's SoCal, which is a very tough region. But, you've got 2 athletes that are games athletes, placing really high over, what did the girls get, 12 last year? So,
yeah, I think, yeah. Top 15.
Yeah, top 15. So, you've got 2 athletes, 2 of the girls in the top 15 in worldwide.
Yeah.
Look, just my opinion, but I actually think that it is one of the toughest regions.
Well, I agree with you. I think it is up there with the SoCal, as you mentioned before. So, yeah, very tough to qualify through, but a lot of people are saying that you are qualifying, but a lot of people say you will qualify, should I say. But on the flip side, some people have said that a year off with pregnancy, maybe the sport has passed you. What do you say about that?
Look, I don't know. I guess only time will tell. I haven't competed in the Open. I haven't competed at the regionals. All I can do is just go and do the best that I can do and hope that it's good enough. That's all I can do.
Well, we'll finish off with some quick questions as well. First of all, are you on a diet? Are you zone or paleo?
Sorry. Sorry. I'm working on my diet. Somehow I think that rum balls and cornettos and they probably, but I'm working on it.
You're working on it.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. Favourite CrossFit movement?
Tough one. Probably clean and jerk now.
Least favourite movement?
It's probably skipping now. Sorry, mums will know why.
I guess that's not me.
Yeah.
But favourite CrossFitter?
Look, Sam Briggs. Yeah, I really like her.
Who do you think will win the 2014 CrossFit Games?
I hope I pronounce this right. Talana.
Talana
Talana Fortunato.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
A curveball there. And if you had to, if there was a podium finish, or not podium finish, if there was a placing at the regionals this year, you'd be happy with, what would it be?
Number 1, of course.
Number 1. The goal is set high.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And look, final question. We are a review website. So, of course, we like to, we're always interested in tools that athletes use, especially top-level athletes. If there was one product, whether it's a mobility tool or a piece of equipment that you couldn't live without, what would it be?
Well, it has to be my SPS barbell.
The SPS barbell.
Yes, correct.
There you go. Giving SPS a good plug, haven't you? Well, Denae, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the best this year, and we'll definitely be cheering you on, and good luck.
Great. Thank you very much.